get to the other big discussion, a sector that almost never falls off discussion radars, the telecom sector. Yesterday, the Telecom Commission announced the spectrum base prices for some of the megahertz for 800, 900 and 1800, the base price. As well, it did not give much details about the 900 megahertz and the 1800 megahertz reserve price. For these and for other issues on the telecom sector, especially the big boy, RelGeo entering, we have with us Rajan Mathews, Prashant Singhal of EY, and also joining on the phone line is Naveen Kulkarni of PhillipCapital. Well, first up, let me get to Prashant. Prashant, how are you looking at the reserve price itself? Any comments that the base price is 17% higher than what the TROI recommended? Is it an incremental negative?
Yeah, I mean, hi, Lata. I think the reserve price is clearly a price at which you need to start the bidding, and I don't really understand why should that be higher than what TRAI had recommended, or the cleared price of the Feb 14 auctions, or should have been really the reserve price of the Feb 14 auctions, and let the market, based on the demand supply of the of spectrum, decide what the clearance price is. Because again, this is purely reserve price, and by upping the reserve price, obviously I think it just puts more pressure on the operators. I mean, one way to look at it is it gets only serious players to bid, but I think the industry is now matured enough to only attract the serious players to bid. Emotional bidding is virtually out from the industry. So I would actually say that it is higher, and I hope the government, when it goes for the cabinet approval, they try to bring it back to the TRAI recommended reserve price, or the reserve price which was there in the Feb 14 auctions.
Okay. Rajan Mathews, Director General of the COAI, also joins in now. Mr. Mathews, good morning. We don't have any details on the important 900 megahertz and 1800 megahertz spectrum reserve price, but there are reports indicating that the DOT wanted a 15 to 25% hike in that reserve price. If that actually comes through, then what could the implications be?
Certainly, the reserve price of 900 and 1800 are important. The TRAI has, given its initial recommendations. The issue becomes one of spectrum quantum. The reserve price will obviously determine the vigor of the bidding and the number of players that will want to bid. But our bigger concern at this particular point is the quantum of spectrum, because if that is not available, then we will have artificially high prices being bid for the existing 900 and 1800 that is being put out.
Have you any indication from the government that they are actively looking at, speaking with defense or taking other steps to increase the quantum?
As we understand right now, the Defense Department has very earlier on cleared the 2100 spectrum for use, for commercial use.
Okay.
There had been tests that were done by the National Security Council to provide that spectrum in case the defense needed it. And also what has happened is that the DOT had cleared it when Mr. Chandrasekhar was the DOT secretary. So we don't understand what is really holding it up at this point.
Any update on whether the 2100 megahertz will be auctioned or not?
Our latest understanding is that both Defense and the DOT have agreed that the spectrum in the 2100 band, which is presently lying unutilized and unused, will be put up. So we're waiting to get official confirmation of that.
Okay. Let's get Naveen into the conversation as well. Naveen, over the past couple of weeks, Bharti and Idea are both down about 12 to 15%. What's bugging them? Is it that this auction could be fierce, the one that comes up in February, or is it greater competition when RelGeo enters?
Yeah, there are a couple of factors which are impacting the telecom stock prices. Of course, auction is a big concern. Last year also we saw that before the auctions there was quite a bit of correction for both Bharti as well as Idea Cellular. Post Q2 results, Bharti had rallied quite a bit, and prior to auctions, there was a significant correction, and after when Jio put in earnest money for 1800 megahertz spectrum, then there was further correction. So this time also there is uncertainty with regards to what could be the final outcome of the auction, because the amount of spectrum, which as of now seems to be pretty limited, especially in the 900 megahertz. So pan-India, if you could see that most of the circles have just around 2 blocks of contiguous spectrum available, which is not sufficient considering the demand will significantly exceed the supply. Demand could be for 4 blocks across India. So then the auction prices are likely to move up much faster than what people were anticipating. And secondly, also important will be how much 800 megahertz comes up for auction. So that could be one band which Jio might be very keenly be interested. So if Jio is able to secure 800 megahertz, then they have very good spectrum in place to launch a good voice product. So that could also be another concern for the market. So these are the two primary concerns which I see as of now.
That's an interesting point. Prashant, comment on this. I mean, the entry of Rel Jio has clearly shaken up the incumbents. So how aggressive do you think the landscape could become with Rel Jio in the fray now? In the sense, how much could the tariffs and margins come under pressure over the next couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, I would actually say that today we are virtually the lowest when it comes to realization per minute, when it comes to realization per MB. And you know, if you look at the data revenues for the industry as a whole, we are just about 14-15%. The smartphone penetration in India is just about mid double digits in teens. The opportunity in this market is immense, and I think the tariffs would move northwards even with the entry of Reliance Jio, because there are no business cases anymore to support such tariffs with the high input costs which are going to come as a result of increased spectrum prices. I think the entire content which is and data which is just about taking off, that is what is going to drive the market growth. And with 3 or 4 players, including Reliance Jio, participating in it, it will fuel the explosion of data rather than be deterrent for the operators. And we'll see much greater innovation which would happen. So if I were to just compare India with a market like Turkey, which is very, very small as compared to India, the data revenues over there are almost 35-36% of the overall revenues, and there are M2M applications which are immense. There are operators who have gone and innovated on applications. So I think we will see a lot of innovation in the market, which will drive the growth, and hence I think the overall pie for the market will go up with Jio coming in.
Okay, that's a constructive interpretation. But Mr. Mathews, you want to speak on that? Will Rel Jio be a disruptive factor, or would you think that there will be initial teething problems and therefore the disruption, if any, is postponed to 2016, or would you go even with what Prashant is saying?
First, I think the fact that the members are spooked, or that the market is going to get roiled by RIL's entry, is a bit overplayed. I think they will be a vibrant competitor. I think the industry is ready for that. And I think they'll be a disciplined competitor, because the stakes are high, the prices that we paid for spectrum are high, the investments that we've had to make in our infrastructure and networks are high. So we'll expect to see very vibrant competition that I believe in the end will be good for the consumer. I think the consumer can expect to continue to receive good value for their money, especially as we enter into the data phase of our offerings.
All right, then one final question to you, Naveen. In terms of stock prices, what is your recommendation on Bharti and on Idea?
Yeah, we have buy recommendation both on Bharti as well as Idea Cellular. Our target price for Bharti is 515, which is a significant upside from current levels. Idea, we have a target price of 200, which is more than 30% upside from current levels.
All right. Finally, on that bullish note, we'll let all of you go. Significant upsides there to the current market price.
At least our panel thinks it's not terribly disruptive, but at the moment the street is not quite in unison with our panel. They are selectively, all of them are positive on the entry of this big boy sometime in calendar 2015.